My name is Asya. I'm the head of product strategy at Welltory. It's a health app with 8 million users. I wanted to talk about AI today because arguably at Welltory, we've been doing AI since before it was cool. We had this elaborate system that could generate literally infinite content based on changes in user data. And so in theory, when the AI revolution or AI apocalypse, whatever you want to call it, whenever that happened, it shouldn't have come as a shock to us, but it did. It really shook us up. In fact, we had to take a step back and rethink our whole product strategy from scratch. So much so that I contemplated calling this talk, throw the whole strategy out and start over. And you'll see why in a second. So a little bit about Welltory and the AI apocalypse we had to deal with last year. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the health and wellness app landscape, but usually it goes something like this. So a person has some sort of problem, they want to lose weight, they want to start meditating, they download a health app. The health app promises them a personalized plan that'll get them to their goal. They buy the personalized plan. They absolutely do not do the plan. And then they feel guilty. They delete their subscription. They eventually churn. How many of you guys know of someone, a certain someone, who has a gym membership that they rarely use? So there you go. That's the basic thing. It's the basic rules of both gym memberships and health apps. It has never prevented them from making money. It works great for everyone. The only problem is that nobody actually gets healthier, or 90% of people, it doesn't work for them. So at Welltory, we think that this really just kind of sucks. So we take a different approach to health and wellness. We're a guilt-free health app, and it's going really well. We have 8 million users, and we're doubling in revenue every year. Our customer retention rate is on par with Netflix and Spotify. And my favorite part about Welltory is that 65% of our customers actually improve their heart health, they start walking more, and they start sleeping more. And we are able to get all of this done without ever giving our users any recommendations. In fact, we never tell our users what to do. Instead, we have an approach that stresses self-knowledge over self-discipline. So basically what we do is we grab health and fitness data from people's fitness trackers. We couple it from data that they can connect with Welltory from over 1,000 sources. And then we use this data to generate personalized content media that educates users about how their bodies work, how they're responding to everything around them. And it kind of helps people develop empathy for their own bodies. So over here is a good example of this. This is our interpretation of a user's heartbeat that we grabbed from their Apple Watch. We visualize it as this beautiful fuel tank that changes color and text depending on how your body feels. So if you're really stressed, like I am right now, it would be like very red and boiling over. Or if you're calm and ready for deep thinking, it would say that and it would turn into like a calm ocean blue. So people really love that. I don't know why this is the way that human psychology works, but I've actually had people say, listen, I passed out on a night of drinking yesterday because I'm really addicted to my green and blue fuel tanks in the morning, and I knew the drinking would ruin it, so I didn't go out, I went to sleep. The other cool thing is, when I say we generate media, I don't mean fake news. We have an entire in-house science team all they do is crank out algorithms all the time. And one of their cool nerdy features that they made recently is anytime our app finds a correlation between two different data flows in the app, so like say you sleep better when you walk more, we generate a research paper that we send to the user. It's auto-generated content. And if you want to check out that level of nerddom, you can use the QR code right here. So anyway, here we are with our little health app. It's going well. It's helping people. It's making money. We're growing. And then in 2022, ChatGPT comes out. And this made us a little bit nervous because one of our main competitive advantages is being able to generate a ton of content. And now there's this alien thing that can do it, and arguably it's doing it quicker and better than we are. So I start testing this thing. I'm like, okay, it's really scary. I test it and I'm like, you know what, it's not that good. It's not that good. Our thing is better. Maybe in another 5 years, we'll worry about it. So imagine my surprise when just a few months later, out comes ChatGPT 4. And this is a problem because the progress I thought would be made in like 5 years was made in a few months. This thing was like really good at generating content. And then just a couple months after that, there was code interpreter. And now this is getting really scary because this thing can not only generate a ton of content, it can do data analysis as well. So we're starting to think we may need to maybe take this thing seriously. And as you know, now there's the open source apocalypse. AI models are coming out literally every day. Progress is faster than ever. And OpenAI said that they're making artificial general intelligence, and who knows what that could possibly mean. So we said, okay, let's sit down and kind of re-strategize and make sure this thing doesn't swallow us whole. But there's one problem with that. Things are changing faster than ever. They're changing in ways that are completely unpredictable because who knows if there's artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, what that's going to do. So how can we make any plans? What kind of roadmap can you have under these circumstances? So I freaked out about this and I read for like 3 months straight. I highly recommend that if you want to understand just the expanse of the weirdness that could happen. I recommend the life cycles of software objects because it has little AI digital pets called digients. And of course, they become sentient. They start advocating for their own rights. They form corporations. And then eventually they turn into sex bots because, of course. But all jokes aside, all jokes aside, there are actually some things that you can do to ground your product strategy in the age of this kind of weird uncertainty. And at Welltory, we developed 5 principles to help guide us. And when I say developed, I mean I made them up. So I hope they can help you too. The first principle is that human nature doesn't really change. Why is this important for your product strategy? Because there are certain pillars that should guide your product decisions that will remain unchanged. AI or no AI, there are some things that remain unchanged. So for us, it's the segments, so the people our app is geared towards, the triggers, the reasons why people open your app throughout the day in the first place. So like for Google or Uber, Google Maps or Uber, people open them because they need to get somewhere. And then the jobs, the reason people hired your app to begin with. So at Welltory, we kind of personify our main segment as the dude from The Big Lebowski. The dude is lovely because he hired Welltory to give him health recommendations, which he is never going to do. And his triggers are he actually opens the app for only one reason. He's bored and he needs entertainment. And that's not going to change no matter what kind of AI comes out. Well, I don't want to say never but probably not. The second principle we use to guide us is that AI is best for driving retention to your product. For Welltory, retention is key, and we're really good at it. And there are 3 things that we kind of use to drive user retention. Personalization. People don't care how scientific or cool or amazing your product is. If it's not about them, they hate it. They don't want it. Novelty. People want something a little bit different every time they open the app. It's kind of like Twitter or Instagram. You open it, there's a post from your cousin, he's wrong about politics, you start arguing, you're engaged. And magic. I don't mean tarot card magic. What I mean is people really love the absence of work. They want to be able to do nothing and yet get something for it. A really good example of this is the Netflix autoplay feature, which we kind of have come to expect. Like you're watching a TV show, it plays the next series automatically. But this was a new feature in 2014, and it shot up Netflix's retention rates because people love nothing more than doing nothing, not lifting a finger, and for the next episodes just play automatically. So AI is really good at supercharging all of these things. I'm really sorry to the gaming community that I didn't include gamification, but you guys are the experts in that, so I'll leave it to you. We recently used AI to kind of super pack all of this stuff into a new feature that's coming out soon. It's called Sleep Flow, and it kind of lulls the users to sleep. It's personalized because it adapts to a user's heart rate in real time and gradually slows down the voice to drop your heart rate and lull you to sleep. It's novel. It gives you a new sleep story every time because AI can just generate them endlessly. And it's magical. You don't have to go through a bunch of options, pick the story you want, figure out which ones you've already listened to. It already knows, and it picks one for you automatically. The third principle is that we really think that smart data sets are going to secure your future. So what I mean by this is that AI can only be as smart as the data that it's trained on. We all know the joke that ChatGPT got a little bit dumber somewhere in the beginning of last year. And the joke is that it got dumber because it was trained on the internet, which is not the most brilliant place. And it's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of true. Because really what you need to train good models is really good, well-organized, structured data. So at Welltory, we have an entire designated product team called Core Value. They're responsible for all of our main scientific features, but they also always organize all their algorithms into structured data that we can use to train models of the future. And I think everyone should do this. And I don't think that good metadata has to be limited to things like science or language. If you're in gaming, you can structure your character descriptions this way. I'm not sure how to do this because I'm not in gaming, but I know there's a kernel of truth there. I think this is the fourth, yes. The fourth principle is you're going to have to start asking yourselves, does this code spark joy? And what I mean is we've encountered at Welltory a bit of a problem in that the time it takes for new AI models to come out is much faster than the time it's taking us to ship features to production. And what we think about this is that we have to create the type of product structure, the type of product architecture that consists of different parts that can eventually be replaced independently with AI models without compromising the integrity of the entire thing. And this means saying no to monolithic structures where you can't change different parts independently. And I think it's the only way to outpace OpenAI's time to market in the modern world. But don't Marie Kondo everything. Please don't, because you can get yourself into trouble. When you're thinking about your product architecture, I think there are two questions you can ask yourself to figure out whether or not this part of the product architecture should be potentially replaced with an AI model, or if it can be left as code. The first question is what matters more, speed or a wow effect? There are some parts of the product, like registration or sign up, where every loss of even a half a second will impact your conversion rates negatively. And for the AI models aren't great because they will always be just a little bit tad slower than code, or at least for the foreseeable future. But when it comes to something like photo editing, users don't really care if they have to wait like an extra half a second to see a much better picture. So AI is probably better there. The second question to ask yourselves is who is best for the job in real life? Is it a human or a machine? So if you think about something like data storage, or God forbid, Silicon Valley Bank, financial instruments. Those are the types of things where in real life you would want really clear structured rules with very, very little room for interpretation or creativity or human error. You want it to do the job. Please don't throw out code for things like this. But for things like content creation, there are beautiful fuel tanks right here, or drawing, for stuff like that, where you have to analyze seemingly endless amounts of different context, AI would probably do better. And unfortunately, that's all the wisdom I have for you guys. You're on your own from here. Welltory has had an adaptive product strategy for many years, and it's worked great for us. We've been doubling in revenue for 4 years straight now. And a few months after re-strategizing, 80% of our employees use AI daily. And okay, it says 65% of our support inquiries are processed by AI, but our support lead told me it's actually 40. So I'm sorry, I lied. It's 40. Thanks a lot. Feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn. And remember to stick to our 5 principles if you're re-strategizing. Human nature stays the same. AI is great for retention. Smart data sets will secure your future. Ask yourself, does this code spark joy? And don't Marie Kondo everything.
What is your monetization model? Subscription?
Yes.
Have you explored other streams of revenue?
So we really, really value user trust and privacy. And because of that, we pretty much do subscription only. We're thinking about other options, but our key thing is not giving people's health data to other people.
You talked about how you're competing against people's laziness.
Yes.
How do you overcome that barrier?
I don't think it's people's laziness. I think that's not the right way to look at it. I think people are busy. I think that people are fun. And being fun means you're not going to stick to like a little health plan and do things every day. What we found is a good way to overcome it is just give people constant information about how everything they're doing impacts their bodies. And when we're aware of how different things that we do impact our bodies, we subconsciously start making better decisions.
Actually, this is kind of a stupid question, but you said stress and then blue is calm. What does green mean?
It means you're ready to jump into action. Yeah. Green is where you want to be if you're presenting, but mine was red. So.
Thank you.
Thank
that
you.
was great.